I got a call from my sister-in-law today about a leak in her bathroom drain, and I thought, well, after seeing it, I saw that the actuator for the stopper is broken right off of the tailpiece here. It's supposed to go on there and lift the stopper up and down. And after seeing that she needs a new tailpiece, I decided I'm going to make a video. And so I went to, and this is a 1 1/4 inch pipe. It could also be 1 1/2, but they're mostly 1 1/4. So this is what I'm going to need. I'm going to need some pliers to remove that big nut. I'm going to need a new drain. I normally get the metal ones, but they're a lot cheaper online, and I had to buy this one at the store today so I could get this drain working again. So it's plastic with a chrome finish. Might break again, but it'll last for quite a while. And yeah, I'm gonna need putty to seal the drain right here. So that's all we need. So let's get started. There's just this one nut right here. Since this other part's already fallen off, well, what I can do, I'm gonna need to take it out anyway. So I just need to push these two ends together on here enough to slide it out, and it comes off, and that comes off too. Okay, and now I'm going to adjust my pliers really wide, and if these aren't wide enough, I have another pair in the car, but these seem to be wide enough. And if I was worried about somebody using this while I have it apart, I would turn off those supply valves, but I'm not going to let anybody in here to use it. So the way this comes off is this nut has to come all the way down. Typically it won't come off the bottom. I'm going to have to loosen the trap right here. So that's, get that loose. And notice there's a seal right here. Got something underneath in case it leaks. And now basically I need to get this seal loose from there so I can push this up and pull the stopper out the top. The stopper is usually, I'm pretty sure it's screwed into this tailpiece, so we're going to have to get that to unscrew as well once we're able to push this up. But this this seal right now is preventing me from pushing it up. That's one heck of a seal. I think I might need a screwdriver to get that down, so I'm going to pause. Okay, I have that seal pushed down now, so I can push the tailpiece up. And while I'm pushing it up, what I need to do is loosen this top and turn it off. Got to get my pliers up here. Okay, I might need my bigger pliers for this. Okay, let's see if I can drain this on the sink. Okay, now you can see it, and let me see if I can get my pliers on it. that. And from underneath, I'm going to try to turn it from underneath. I really should have bigger pliers though, to be honest. By the way, this can come out now. Yucko. And then maybe I can grab this like so. Oh, there we go. And I'm turning it from underneath. And I've spun it out. There it is. Okay. Now under here, I've got to... looks like I'm going to have to take the trap off, which might get things wet down here. But I've got it. Oh no. I just took it off a little bit and now I've got the tailpiece out. Okay, so I can tighten that up again. A little bit, enough to keep it from draining all over. Now I'll get my new parts out. Well, first of all, I really should clean this up. So let's throw this out. We're not going to need this stuff. But you can see there was, you can see the putty that was on there. So we'll put some new putty on. We're not going to reuse any putty today. And use these paper towels to clean this up. Clean out the putty. Clean out the hole. And oh, I just noticed this sink doesn't have an overflow port. Notice that? So normally there would be flow, there would be holes inside here for the overflow, but doesn't seem to be an overflow. Garbage. Let's see, clean it from underneath maybe. And if I was diligent, I would probably clean the trap while I'm changing all of this. That might be a smart thing, but I saw inside the trap that it wasn't very dirty. You can see inside there now. I mean, it's a little bit dirty, but it's not full of anything. So I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to get my new tailpiece out. It comes with a new actuator and a new rod, so this rod I don't really need, but I don't need to change it either. So I might just use this part. Okay, there's the actuator, and after I get this in fact, okay, so I unscrewed that, and once I get the tailpiece put in, this will go in, and then this will go in. And that'll go in. So, and then this top piece has a blue plastic coating on it for protection. I'm going to take that off, throw that out. Okay, and the stopper I can set aside for now. And yeah, there's the top that screws on, so I'm going to screw that off because I have to slip this up through the bottom and tighten the nut, Well, before I tighten the nut though, I want the nut all the way loose because I got to put this up and I got to screw this part down on here. So let's do that. But before I do that, well, I can put this in if I want. That's not the right size. Sorry, this was the right size. I just needed to slip the seal on with the taper part down. Well, I'll put the nut on first, and then I put the seal on, the taper part down, and then I slip it in. And now I'm going to turn this back so I can bring that up. And with that up, now I can put the nut on the tailpipe there, the tailpiece. But first I got to put some putty on it, so let's do that now. So here is the nut that goes on top by the stopper, and I've got some putty here, and what I have to do is roll it into like a cigarette shape between my hands. Kind of like this. This is a little bit dry. I don't know if you can moisten it any or not, but I got to get it all the way around this nut and let it squish out when I tighten the big nut down the bottom. So get some of that all the way around. It's called plumber's putty. And this is about the only thing I use it for. And then it gets dried out and I have to buy a new one every time I do it, because I don't do this very often. I got this big piece of putty here. That's too much, but because it's dried out, I gotta just push it on a little bit at a time. And I gotta get it to stay on enough. This in and screw it on. I think I'm going to screw the pipe on from the bottom though. I just need a little bit more right there, and it's probably more than I need, but I don't care because this stuff is cheap and I just want to make sure it seals. So now I'm going to take that up top and put it in there like that. And then I'm going to bring this pipe up and screw it into that nut. You can see what I'm doing there. So I'm screwing the tailpiece in from underneath and pulling this down. And once it's screwed in all the way, I think that's as far as it goes, then I have to come under here and I have to screw this nut up, and I want to position this actuator port here to the back so that the actuator rod can go in and be actuated. Here is that right here. It goes in, but it doesn't go in until I put the stopper in. So let's put the stopper in, and I'll tell you which way that goes. It goes in, see this, the way this is offset? It goes in like this. Okay, and then this rod goes in, and I gotta angle it down if I can. Well, I have no choice, in fact. I even have to turn it to make this happen. I have to go down so that it can actuate. Let's see how it actuates up and down now. So, oh, actually before I do that, I should take this keeper off of here. Take that off because I need to use this nut. Put this nut on, and that nut's going to tighten it and seal it. Okay, so as I put that on, I have it down to make sure that it's going in and it's, wow, sorry, that's kind of bright. It's actuating that. Okay, so now I can tighten the nut on here. And of course that's going to have to seal, but I'm going to check everything, the seal on everything after I get this back together. Okay, I finally got that going on. It's still working here. If I tighten it too much, it'll be hard to actuate. So that's how I know. I tighten it until it's a little bit difficult to actuate, and then I know it's probably going to seal. Okay, so after I've done that, I've got to tighten this nut. Oh, but this rod needs to point back and go through that actuator. Let's see, when it's all the way down and that's all the way up. Well, let me not adjust it yet because I'm not sure, because I still have a gap here I need to close. So I'm going to get my wrench on there and tighten that right there. I'm not sure how to hold the camera while I'm doing that. Maybe like this. I hope you can see it. I can't see what the camera sees right now. Tightening the nut, and I need to be careful because this nut is plastic. Okay, while we were paused, I discovered that this piece that's supposed to screw onto the top of the tailpiece was not fitting down into the sink because it was a little bit too wide. It had these little ridges on it. So I went out and I cut those ridges off, and now you can see it's all the way down. And yeah, I finally got a seal there, and so now, and I've tightened this, and now I have to reinsert my actuator, and I've decided that I want this fourth hole on here. So to get the fourth hole, I'm gonna, well, first I have to put my little keeper on, then I go through the 4th hole, and then I put my keeper on the other side, and that's going to keep it on and keep it adjusted and all of that good stuff. And I have to put the stopper in again on top. Maybe I'll let it be lifted up this time so I can go in from the bottom. Not sure I can do that yet. Okay, going in from the bottom. Put that in. If I'm going in from the bottom, the stopper's going to be up. And I've got it hooked in. Oh, but I forgot. Okay. And then I've got to get the upper rod back into this lower rod. I got to get it adjusted right, and then I got to tighten this screw. I don't know if you can see the set screw on there or not. Right there, that's that screw. I've got to tighten once I get this adjusted right. Screw. Okay, I got the set screw tightened. I got this nut here tightened. The actuator still works, but it has enough resistance that I'm pretty sure it's going to seal. I need to tighten up this P-trap onto the tailpiece. There. Make sure this one's tight. This one's tight. Back there. Okay. And then going back on top, you can see now that the stopper does actuate up and down. And you can see a little bit of putty did come out on top. It should squeeze out on top like that. And now let's run some water and make sure it doesn't leak. And we can turn on both hot and cold to make sure, give it lots of flow. Check everything for leaks. That's where it was broken before. It's all new now. And no leaks. So that was a very interesting repair. Thanks for watching.